In this video, we're going to use Excel to calculate the final balance using the compound growth formula at various intervals. So our compound growth formula is A, our final amount, equals P, the principal or the starting balance, multiplied by 1 plus I, where I is the interest rate per compounding period, to the power of number of periods we've got. So what I've done over here is I've just quickly made a table where I can put the information in that I need to substitute into my formula. The principal. Now I'm putting the interest rate per annum, but we will alter that in our formula to get it per compounding period, and then the number of compounding periods per year. First of all, we're going to make a table of the number of years we want. So the fastest way to do that is autofill. I'm just going to go 1 and drop down and go 2. And instead of typing in all of my years, if I highlight those 2 cells, and you can see my cursor is a little fat cross. If I move it to the bottom right corner, it becomes a small cross. Now it's going to copy that pattern all the way down. So I can just keep on going to get down to the number of years I want. So let's say to 30 years. So Excel has now automatically filled in those for me. Now for my balance is where I'm going to use the compound interest formula. So remember, every time I want Excel to calculate something, I start off with equals. Now I want to equals the principal. So the principal is going to go into this cell. So I'm going to click on that cell, but I need to lock it. So the fastest way to lock it is click F4. Multiply, which is Shift 8. Then I've got my brackets, 1 plus the interest rate. So I'm going to click on that cell and lock it. But remember, that cell is the rate per annum, whereas I need the rate per period. So I'm going to divide it by the number of compounding periods I have, which is going to be in the cell below. And F4 to lock that. Close my brackets. Now I need to raise it to the power, so that's Shift 6. And I need it for the number of compounding periods. So my number of compounding periods, I'm going to put brackets because I'm going to do a multiplication, is the time in years, so how many years. I'm not going to lock it because I'm going to drag that cell down. Shift 8 for multiply by the number of compounding periods. So at 1 year, if I'm compounding monthly, it's going to be 1 times 12 to get my number of compounding periods. So click that cell, F4, and close my brackets and enter. And there's my formula completed. So that's the hard work done. So what you can see, it's actually given me what looks like an error symbol, but it's simply because I haven't got any values in these boxes. So let's just say we test some out. If I put in, say, a $4,000 principal, and say my interest rate is 3.2% per annum, and I'm going to write it as a percentage, so 3.2%, and Excel will automatically convert that to a percentage for me. And let's say it's going to be compounding every monthly. So therefore, if compounding's monthly, I've got 12 compounding periods in a year. And you can see now it's calculated that amount to $4,129. Slightly too many decimal points. I'm going to format this. So the cells where I want my balance to go to, I'm just going to highlight those. And I'm just going to right-click and go Format Cells. And I want it to go to currency. So on my number tab, if I click down currency, it's going to give it to me 2 decimal places and it'll put my dollar symbol in. That looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that. Now, just like before, I used Excel to fill in my columns. I'm going to do that to copy this formula down. So I'm going to click on the cell, move my cursor, just click on the cell, move my cursor into the bottom right corner, so it's the little cross, and I'm just going to drag that down. And now it's going to copy that formula all the way down and calculate my values. Remember, in my formula, I locked the information that came from here, so it always referred to those cells. The only thing I didn't lock was my time in years, and it's going to copy the number of years as I go down. The next thing I want to do is I actually want to get a visual representation of this. So I'm going to create a graph of the balance as it changes with time. I'm going to highlight the cells that I want to graph, and let's say I want to graph it for 20 years. And I go Insert, and I want to put in a line graph. So I'm just going to choose this first line and click that in there. So there's my graph. Now, I need to improve this to make it look a little bit better, and that's where I can use my tabs off to the side to add in my chart titles. I can also look at formatting my grid lines, okay, to find a starting point, put in more grid lines. I can do the same here and improve my chart area. I'll leave that up to you guys, but all you need to do is highlight the information you want and go insert a chart. Thank you.